And that transitions us perfectly into the book discussion, which I have here. Sean P., The Reader, a collection of thoughts. This book can be ordered on, well, I put the link in the bio, the link in the description if you want to order this book. So this is what we're going to be discussing. Before we get into the discussion, can you tell us, you mentioned, you touched on it a little bit earlier, but for those who are interested in this book, can you give us a brief overview of what this book is about?
So the Sean P. Reader, a collection of thoughts. During the pandemic, we're on lockdown, the world going crazy, everything is burning, right? Protest is wild. As a creative, I take this pocket of time and really sit down with the pen and paper and start going through a lot of my older speeches I've done over the years and looking at my old content, looking at my old slides, like, you know what? I did that speech that one day for that one audience. But I think it could be used by the masses for years to come if I put this in a written format. So I started going about the process of making these novellas. It was a novella series, is what it was. Started making these novellas. Me and my partner, Cliff Roy Jr., he made one as well, and it really sparked my mind. Like, you know what? Start doing these little small, easy to read, quick read, digestible books. And so the books came from that run during the pandemic, knocking out these novellas back to back. And then when the years go by, I said, you know, I want to put them all in one place and make a paperback edition, right? Because, you know, people always come to you and they say, man, Sean, I want to read your book, but I wish it was in a physical form. Or they say, you know, I wish it was on audio. You're trying to appease all of these different kind of customers. So it took years later, and I finally got it into the physical form.
Gotcha. Okay, and I will be honest and say I am not a paperback reader. I'll read on the screen. I will listen to audio. But I'm not a paperback reader. I had to set myself down and read this because I definitely wanted to be prepared to talk to you. But I'll just say this is the first time in a long time that I sat down and actually held a paperback and not a tablet and read. So kudos to you. But I don't know if that was intentional because I didn't see it on you have to read the paperback. So when I asked you what in particular you wanted to focus on in this book, because it's a collection of 4 ebooks, like you just said, you said the anatomy of a book. Why did you highlight that ebook out of this to want to highlight?
I think out of all the books I've published so far, out of the 10 books, the anatomy of a book, first of all, if you're a multi-published person, your books are your babies. Mm-hmm. We all have a favorite. You have a favorite child, if you want to admit it or not. Most parents have a favorite. Out of all my book babies, the anatomy of a book is one of my favorite books that I've done to date. I'm so proud of it. I'm excited about it. But also, I think in the middle of doing like press stuff, that particular book might have had some of the least amount of the pandemic. I couldn't go on tour with it. I couldn't do book signings. Only did but so many podcasts like this to promote it. So I want to give more highlight and more shine on that book.
Okay. Well, let's talk about it. So, all right. So in the section, The Anatomy of a Book, you suggest on helpful ways on how to become a more engaged reader. When you started really digging into being an avid reader, what techniques helped you to really be active in what you were reading?
Man, the world of annotation. I am an annotation junkie. All of my books have 100-something tabs in my book. So I'm actively reading. I'm not a passive reader. Mm-hmm. And I try to work on, when I'm in my off time, working on things I'm just reading it. I'm not underlining. It's such a habit. I see something that really catches me, I want to underline it. I want to highlight it. I got to actively say, Sean, just turn the page. phase. Because when I became an avid reader, there are different levels of reading in my opinion.
Okay.
It's like a five-year car, a manual shift car. And so many people, even my avid reader friends, they're real passive about how they're going about this reading. I want to be like engaged. I want to be like really into it. And I'm actively doing the activity.
Right.
I'm engaging these characters. I'm looking at certain lines they say, well, this line means this word means that. Are they really alluding to this? Are they really saying that? And I'm blessed to be a part of a book club. It's a private secret book club for the past 2 years. And we have a long inbox. And we all going back and forth about whatever the book of the month is, talking about, well, they mentioned this, maybe it's that. We're wrestling with these ideas. This is active. This is the activity. We're not just skimming and turning and skimming and turning. We're really getting into the depths of it. And I have more of a reading experience that way versus not doing it.
Okay. All right. Before I ask you the next question, I wanted to mention the goodies that I received with my book purchase.
Okay, here we go.
All right. Forgot to do that. So, of course, you get the paperback book. You get it signed, autographed, of course. You get this lovely bookmark that says the Sean P. Experience. I really like that. You also get this lovely bookmark, which I haven't taken out yet. This is so cute. I like this. You get this bookmark, a nice pen that writes really nice, and you get these. They're little stickies that you can. I just call them stickies that you can, annotate your book with. So this is a really thoughtful gift. So not only are you telling people how to be active, you're giving them things to help get them on their way. So I just wanted to point that out. So thank you for sending that. Well, I did purchase it for you. Y'all need to purchase as well. So thank you for that. This really nice package. I'm sorry?
No, I said thank you.
Oh, okay. Let's see. So in chapter 5, let me see. Because I'm trying to be fancy. All right, so in chapter 5, titled Learning Your Rich History, you say, and I quote, "When I decided to read the autobiography of Malcolm X, my life would be forever changed." Then you go on to say, "I learned critical thinking, how to use logic, how to read between the lines, and how to fill in what was not there. I learned the art of writing and the power of words during this period. I always feel I owe my entire college journey to my self-study of African American history." So my question is, in what other ways has your self-study of African American history shaped you? Because you're mentioning here that Malcolm X changed your life. So how did that progress as you learn more?
I mean, my day-to-day life, again, being in the hospital field, and as we're digging into the history of what have we experienced as Black and brown people in the medical world. What have we experienced historically? When it comes to being treated a certain way by certain providers, the insurance companies, and what they're doing. You start just you start pulling these threads. The whole sweater just comes loose. Just pull it. But the average person you find is like a zombie on The Walking Dead. They're just going into something. They're just the victim of being mistreated or mishandled, or they're the victim of the doctor or the nurse or whoever telling you whatever they're telling you. You just taking it. I speak about parents a lot. When the parents go into the school meetings and stuff and they're saying this jargon, you don't know what it means. And they say, well, okay, we'll sign this. You don't know what you're signing for your child. You don't understand what's going on with these school systems and what they're doing and why they're doing it. Only from studying what I studied am I aware, and I'm on game, to see certain things to better protect myself and my family, my loved ones. So that's just other additional examples of my self-study helping me in day-to-day real life.
Right.
I read the paper a lot, right? And me and my friends talk all the time about how certain things are written in the paper. Look what this article is saying. Look at the heading of the article versus what it's actually saying. And at the bottom of it, it never even comes around to saying this in conclusion. The average reader go just see it, they go just bypass it and turn the page. Like, this is major. So my friends and I are always dissecting things, being critical once again, because it's important.
Yeah.
It's a life skill.
Yes, I do believe that. Okay. All right. So let's see. My next question comes from chapter 2. And like I said, I had to be fancy. Comes from chapter 2, titled Mind Travel Out of This World. So you say here, there's no more incredible feeling for me than waking up in a new place and inhaling fresh air that feels new to my lungs. So my question on that is, do you remember the first time a book took your mind on a journey where it had never been?
Yeah, sure. So I'm big on the Game of Thrones, right? I love the Game of Thrones. And reading fantasy.
Okay.
One of my more recent journeys in the world of reading fantasy. You're reading about these vivid worlds again. And it's these snowy places, or it's super hot, and they're going into all this detail with the world building and what they're laying out. And you're really, really trying to imagine the places that they're journeying to, the places where they're fighting these battles. And of course, these books have actual maps.
Right.
So most readers probably just look at the map, go past the map. They're reading the book, 400 pages into, you never go back to the map. When they mention the place, to go back to the map, let me see on the map. Where is this at? How does it look? To be active in turning the page and doing that back and forth, I enjoy that journey. It's another active part of reading.
Okay.
I'm really trying to transport into that place.
Okay. I'm really interested in your answer to this question. So in chapter 6, in the About the Author chapter, you say, people will put a lock on their phones, lock their bank cards with codes, lock their cars and homes, but allow anything into their minds. Now, why do you think that is, Sean P?
Because again, people seem to be so passive. And they don't really think critically about, who am I listening to? So my mentor taught me a long time. One of the first rules is, who is giving me this advice? Who is giving me this suggestion? What's this person? What's their intent? What's their background? What makes you the authority able to tell me this about this thing? So any book you picking up, you really, really should check out about the author for it like this. Because maybe on that particular subject matter, you say, you know what? The book seems cool, but I don't want to read this particular person on that subject. I'm going to go somewhere else. And do a little quick Google search and check out that person's background, what they've been into, what they're doing, stuff like that. Try to get an idea of their ideology, because every person has their own bias they bring to the page. Their bias, their belief, their political affiliation, whatever it might be. So that slant is going to be there, consciously or not. So we got to be careful as consumers who is saying this.
Right.
That was the important saying that in that part of the book. That was the important part about it.
Okay. Alrighty. All right. So the last question I have for this book, well, for this portion of the book, comes from chapter 1, and that chapter is titled "Reading is Fun for the Mental." It's fundamental. And here you say, for countless years, I've been reading about 3 to 4 books at once, and I change them up at a moment's notice depending on my mood. With this technique, you will be more involved and engaged in the content because you are reading something you want to read instead of something you are being made to read. So my question is, what 3 to 4 books are you reading right now?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I have another interview coming up on the 10th, Thursday, It's called The Forgotten Migration. It's about the amount of black people that went to undergraduate school and graduated in the South, but they could not go to postgrad school anywhere at these schools. They had to go and travel across the country to get their degrees to be a lawyer, a doctor, or dentist, any of these other kind of higher caliber degrees. They couldn't get that in the South. So the book is all about this migration not being that talked about. And most of these graduates had to come back to the South to actually work.
Mm.
If you want to be a doctor, you go graduate from this school, the school wouldn't hire you to be a professor at that school. So now these PhD graduates are now a third grade teacher back in the South.
Right.
So that's one book.
I'm sorry. Maybe I didn't catch the name of it.
The Forgotten Migration.
The Forgotten Migration. Okay.
Forgotten Migration, right? Also, I'm reading this book. It's called The Last War. The author name is Joe Abercrombie and Fitch. And it's a fantasy book. Talking about wars, warriors, kind of like Game of Thrones once again. Right?
Mm-hmm.
All these dramatic fight scenes. These interesting gray characters, right? Not really good, not so much bad. They're kind of in the middle. The world building. I'm reading that right now. In audio, I'm doing a lot of audio books on Malcolm X teaching.
Okay.
So a lot of Malcolm X audio books. That's some of the examples of what I'm reading lately.
Okay. That was my last question that kind of went by fast. Oh, that was my last question for the sub book in the book collection of thoughts.
Yeah.
And again, you can pick this up. I'll put the link down in the description box if you want to go ahead and pick this up, get your signed copy, and go to Sean P's Instagram. Tell him what you think of it. He is ready and willing to engage with you on that. So, yeah, like I said, that's my last question for that. Do you have a little more time for me, or you gotta go?
Let's go.
So for this portion of the podcast, we are going to play a game, and we have decided to play the lyrically correct game, and we are going to see if we can get Sean P to 5 points. All right. So I'm going to hit you with this first one. We're going to see how you do. You get a feel of how the game is, and I think you'll do fine. Okay. So in Give It To Me, what does Jay-Z say to do with the Prada blouse, Gucci bra, and filth marked jeans?
Take that off.
Yep, take that off. See, that's 1 point. That's 1 point. So that's how it goes.
Take that off. Okay. That's tough.
Okay, let me.
Gotta find this.
All right, let me put these to the back. Okay. Another one I think you'll be able to get pretty easily. What couldn't Missy Elliott stand?
A 1 minute man.
You know what? You know what? That's a good answer.
Oh, sorry. My bad. I can't stand the rain.
Yes, but that wasn't. You know what?
She didn't want a 1 minute. Oh,
that's true. That's true. I would have took both of them. I would have took both of those answers. I didn't even think about that.
That's crazy. My mind went there. Pardon me.
All right, let's see. Okay. I don't know some of these people, and I don't know if you know them, and I don't want to be asking. Okay. Because Master P got the hookup, what does he say they should do next?
How left you hear me?
Yep.
Got the hookup.
Okay, so you good at this. All right, you good at this. So that's 3 points. 3
piece.
Okay. This is the 4th one.
Oh.
What does P.D. Pablo want them to do after they take their shirt off?
Bring it around your head like a helicopter. Yes, the good old club day. The club day. Yeah.
Okay.
It was in there.
All right.
Here we go.
Why does Andre 3000's baby mess around? Excuse me, why doesn't Andre 3000's baby mess around?
Because she love me so?
That is correct. You know what? This is too easy for you. Let me give you one.
5 out of 5.
That was 5 for 5. I ain't mad at that. Let me give you one more.
We do this. This is fun.
Okay. Don't see, these are easy. That's an easy one. See, these are easy. I'm saying they're easy for you because I can see you know lyrics. All right. I'll give you this last one.
Oh Lord.
And give me some stank with it if you can, if you know it. The question is, how many times did Kane from the Yin Yang Twins go to the club?
Came to the club like 11 times.
There you go.
11 times.
Yep, 11 times. That is great. You're really good at this game.
I gotta go find that game. Where'd you get it? Where'd you find it?
Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called Lyrically Correct. They have different versions. I think they have like
Really?
a gospel version and all types of stuff. Because I'm always looking for stuff to do with the guests, to have fun. And this one is the new one. So that was
very good. You have a very good podcast. I love what you're doing.
Oh, thank you. You did good at that game. I gotta be more challenging with you. All right. Alrighty. So that was the end of the game. This is the end of the podcast. I want to thank you so much for watching, and thank you, Sean P, for joining me today. Do you have any final words that you'd like to say before we get out of here?
Yes, before we leave, I totally enjoy being the guest on your podcast. This podcast is dope. I highly advise any authors out there, holler at my sister, man, and definitely try to get yourself mic'd up.
Oh, that's what I'm about.
The little drop.
I like that. All right, y'all. Well, y'all have a good one, and we'll see you soon.